Hello, hello, everybody. Do you hear me? I can't hear you. No, no, it's like I saw you this morning. You were all hyped up. So I need this energy for me to keep going. Are you ready, guys? Thank you. That's what I like. Okay? So we are going to start with a story today. So for a little disclaimer, um, my assistant and I called Mid Journey. We came up with this story, so it's all coming from my brain. So no need to sue me. I know you're the country of suing, so so I didn't do anything wrong. Okay, so let's start. Once upon a time, on a purple planet called Zephyria, we had like a huge thing happening. You know, here are the people from Zephyria. They're like engineers, like us, and they're purple. Why are they purple? Because whenever you go outside of this planet, you become purple. Because like you're lacking your home oxygen. So I think I'm starting to become an American as I'm away from France. So here's how people, the Zephyrians, and the issue they have is that people starting to get purple randomly, like babies, people who never went outside of the planet are purple now. And they notice that they have some characteristics that appear to look like autism in 2020. So here we are in 2000 and something. So here we are on our ship, the Method Conference, OSS, and we have the mission today to go meet their chief and explain to them what is autism, because they're like really, really serious about it, and they're scared, and there is a risk that they might like maybe throw out of the planet the people that became purple like that. So for today, are you ready for our mission to help them understand autism and help them find peace? You don't have a choice. I didn't give you any choice. Are you ready? Are you with me with that? I'm trusting you, okay? So, here is this talk, The Silent Figures, the Secret History of, or Hidden History of Autistics in Tech. Do you know anyone famous with autism or under the spectrum? You can clap if you want to. I like it clap because it makes noise in the video. So clap if you know some famous autistic people. Come on, guys. I know it's almost fall. It's Saturday, and we're all tired, but I need you now, okay? So do you know any famous autistic? Thank you all. The guy with the pink hair got it. I see your energy. You're with me, like, okay. So, historically, we can like quote some people that, imaginary or not, are autistic. For example, we suppose that Tina from Bob's Burger is autistic. We also think that Susan Boyle is, so as Mark Zuckerberg, Captain Spock is like one of my favorite. And of course, Dennis Ritchie, who you might know, created the C language. So all these people are like universally known among others as autistics. So my question can seem silly now. Do you think that autism is kind of tech related? You can clap. You don't know? Okay, I see you. Okay. The thing is started with the geek syndrome, you know, and this journalist called Steve Silberman, he did a paper like writing about this thing happening in the Silicon Valley, where a lot of people working there had their children having autism, and they were panicking because it was a lot of people with under the spectrum in a really small area. So they started to be like, okay, what's wrong with my kid and why that and why here in Silicon Valley? So this journalist started to get interested in this subject, and he wrote the paper to help people understand that it's not that big of a deal and it can be easily explained. And from that paper, he wrote that book that I really, really love called Neurotribes. And this book, if you got the chance to read it, please read it because it's like fundamental. And on this book, he explained the whole story of autism, the autism knowledge, and how it came from for example, Asperger and its sad story and the sad story of experimentation on people with autism, from now where we have like activists trying to raise awareness on autism and on that we're not that bad of people, you know? So it's in 2015. And why I'm talking about that is that we have like other companies starting to get interest in people on the spectrum. For example, we have Microsoft, IBM, and SAP. They built a specific program for people on the spectrum to help hire them, to help keep them, and to help them to thrive in their environment. And one thing that is really interesting when I was looking for this and these companies is that they found out that people on the spectrum has some specificities that are really outstanding. For example, they tend to catch patterns really easily, to focus on some matters intensely. And one of the incredible story I read about that is on SAP. There is this engineer, I couldn't find his name, I'm sorry. If you see me on this video, please write me an email so I can know your name. And this engineer was able to find a bug without that, you know, there was a bug. And this bug, nobody saw it. He was the first to catch it and to fix it. And it saved $24 million to the company. So with this really interesting example, we can see why tech companies starting to get interested in these types of I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. These types of profiles and starting to make them feel comfortable and welcome in the tech environment. Okay, so there is this study from Microsoft that I was able to find because Microsoft, not only they are people under the spectrum, but they also ran some experiences and some surveys, like to get to know more about their neurodiverse employees. For example, I picked for you this study, stating called Understanding, I have to read. Understanding the challenges faced by neurodiverse software engineers employee towards a more inclusive and productive technical workforce. So what did they do on that survey? They decided to send an email because they didn't want someone to point out fingers saying, you're autistic, so come, we need you for this study. So they wrote an email saying, okay, if you are under the spectrum, or if you think that you're neurodiverse, come and answer our questions. So for this specific study, I show you this figure. They asked people under the spectrum or not, like what are the challenges they have to deal in the workspace. As you can see, on red, you have like neurodiverse population, and on blue, neurotypical one. You can see that mostly they are struggling with working in a noisy setting, working in a shared office and expressing appropriate expressionist work. Moreover, they also asked them to self-rate their skills, depending on all these items, and it happened that they all answered that they're good at detecting patterns in code and also employing good coding style. Furthermore, these other figures show that they don't like face-to-face conversations, and they prefer to go with SMS and texting, like a non-physical communication way. So, as I told you a lot of things like Microsoft, that's good. So, what's the matter of that? What is autism after all? Because I'm talking about autism, but I don't give any explanation. So you're like, okay, so what's the point? So, for you people, are you under the spectrum? If you, yes, clap your hands. Okay. If you don't know, it's okay. You can, I suspect you can clap a little bit like you did. Thank you, Emily. And what I did is that I was wondering, we have ChatGPT, or actually we have Midjourney and a lot of AI tools, and they are built by people. So maybe there is a way for Midjourney to guess, or maybe to show me what Autistics look like, you know. So I asked him, show me someone autistic. I wrote that, show me someone autistic. No, and he came up with like patterns, puzzles, things like really like artsy things. So I was like, okay, no, I don't want like the glamorous way. Show me real people. So I asked him again, show me someone autistic. And he came up with this. It looks like a cover for a movie or something, but not real people. So I asked again because I'm like, I couldn't let it go. I was like, you're gonna show me. So I was like, show me autistic people in the real world. And he came up with this. So for him, like, autistic people are all wearing really flashy colors and, you know, and they're really like living in winter, I don't know, but they have like, all of them have jackets. I didn't get it. I was like, okay. So let's try again. And here is an ad for Sephora. Okay, I'm disappointed now. Why do you show me people with makeup? It's like a makeup ad. That's okay. So whether it's a group of girls, a group of boys, but you only see the connection is they're all colored with a lot of flash colors. So it didn't make sense for me. It's like okay. Then I was like, okay, we leave Midjourney and AI tools. It's okay, it doesn't understand, it's normal, it's a toy after all. It's like, it's a baby, it doesn't understand. Okay? So I was like trying to find like biases of phrases about autism or autistic people that didn't make sense for me. You know, for example, this one, autistics do not have feelings. Okay. Okay. In my world, it's called psychopath or sociopath, but okay. I also had like the infamous, we are all autistics after all. Okay, you need a diagnosis, so if we are autistics, good luck with that. I also heard autistics only like trains. Okay. That's good. So if you don't like trains, you're not autistic. So good job. And women cannot be autistics. That one surprised me because, you know, it's all about brain chemistry. So what's the matter of the gender? Like, is there anything with ovaries influencing the brain? I don't know. I was like, okay. And autistics do not speak. Okay, this one pissed me off because I was like, it's supposed to be a spectrum, come on. You can't have on a full length of a spectrum, like everybody not talking. It's not possible. So otherwise we wouldn't have like Susan Boyle is singing, you know, so she can talk, obviously. So I was like, okay, for this talk, we're doomed because like we have a lot of stereotypes, we have a lot of biases regarding autism. So what will be the best way for me to explain to people what is autism? I thought about this theory that I think really is interesting. It's called the monotropism theory. It was first introduced in 1991, so it's not new, it's really old, but it's getting back in trend because it explains a lot about autism. And one of the definitions of this, of the monotropism, I have to read again, it's like the minds of people in the monotropism way of thinking is that they tend to have their attention pulled more strongly towards specific, smaller number of interests or specific matters, and at any given time, leaving fewer resources for a lot of things, a lot of other things, okay? Well, like that, it doesn't make any sense. I get it, but bear with me. So, what I like is that, oh, my bad. Yeah. It also goes with autistic inertia. Have you ever heard about autistic inertia? Clap your hands if you had. Okay, we have like about 5% of people knows about it. Okay, it's the tendency, it's like the law of in physics, is that people with monotropism are monotropism minds. They are in autistic inertia also. That means that they don't want to move. They want to be in the same state constantly. That's impossible. We're human. So I used to be microbiologist, and I know that as humans, every time, every second we breathe, our cells move. We all move. We can't be constant. So what does it mean? It means that for your research, you can go on monotropism.com. It has a lot of resources, and it can explain to you extendedly I can do it, extendedly, what is monotropism and other things. Really go there if you need to know more about it, and also we can talk after that. But it means that people on the spectrum with monotropistic, one, two, three again, with monotropism minds, they will live in extremes. And that's what I like about this study I picked up for you. It's called I Live in Extremes, a qualitative investigation of autistic adults' experiences of inertial rest and motion. What did they do? Is they pick a group of people, like I think if I remember right, 100 people, something like that. They ask them to rate, to give like, depending on 4 themes, to give examples of how they feel, how it makes them feel, and to help understand what is autistic inertia. So for example, the difficulty to move from one state to another, the pervades of the prevalence of this every day in the day-to-day life of the individual. Also, is it the single most disabling things of being autistic, and how to respond to inertial challenges. What does it mean? It means that for people who live in an extreme, they can't just have a willpower to change like this. For example, if someone is on the spectrum and is currently working on something that is, even if it's a special interest, even if I don't like this word, but if it's like a passion, they will be so focused on this, so into it, that if you come like this saying, hey, you might get a really harsh reaction, like, what? You know, like, ah, you know. And it's also a part of the day-to-day life because it applies to a lot of fields in the life. For example, it's hard when you clean the house to go from one task to another. For example, you decided to clean the dish. It will be hard for you to finish the dish and to be like, okay, I finished, now I need to clean the bathroom. So it's like, no, you need like a little time of adaptation, and you need like some time to move from one to another. Something, when you give like a date or, you know, a rendezvous. Yeah, I'm French, but I like the way you say it here, so I'm like fancying this word when you say it, the rendezvous. So when you give someone a rendezvous and these people, and you change the plan. For example, you say to her, okay, let's meet at the Eiffel Tower at 3 p.m. And like half an hour before, you said, oh, let's switch plans, like, because I'm crazy, let's have a blast. We should change, like, no, you not in Eiffel Tower. So now it's free. We meet at 3:30 at the Arc de Triomphe. No way in hell this person will say, yeah, we'll be willing to meet you, and change the plan. He will say, okay, let's schedule it another day. Why? Because he put his mind so intensely into, okay, at this time, I will be at this place. He organized the trip. He planned it. He saw the map. He mind map the meeting, all the things. And now, all of a sudden, not only you're changing the location, you're changing the hour also? Come on. Come on. So that's really the main issue. Not issue, but the main challenge that people under the spectrum are facing every day. That's why also it's making it hard to have like real connection with people, because some people might not get why you don't want to change plans, why you're so rigid. And maybe they will call you like stupid or something like that, or he's so stubborn, he's never changed. But it's not a matter of being stubborn or not to be stubborn or not to be stubborn. It's a matter of how you plan things and the intensity you put into planning also in advance your meeting. So that's what it means. Autistic inertia is fantastic because when it's applied, for example, on the day-to-day work, it's perfect because you put this individual in a specific task, you will be sure that it will be so focused on the task that he will go through and see everything. But if you switched up even a slight detail, small detail, it will like make his world upside down and his brain upside down. So that's why you get a strong reaction, because it can be joy, because when he's intensely in the task, is having fun, but it can also be some pain, because how can you explain to people that, you know, for me, I need change, I need time to change? The things that for you it's normal, for me it's not that normal, so bear with me, come with me. It's difficult. And in human relations, we tend to go like to take shortcuts. We don't, you know, we like, okay, we did this, we did that, you got to get the cues. But when you're on the monotropism part of the life, it's harder. That's why I put for you this study. It really shows that when you're under the spectrum, everything is harder. Even if you live passionately, intensely, but it's difficult because human relations and humans are moving and they are not constant. And how can you live in a world where everything is always changing around you, but you won't stay the same? It's not possible. It's like being like wanting to put circles into squares. It's like possible. So we have to find ways and work around the things. So this one might be triggering. I'm warning you because I got such strong reactions after this question. So in your opinion, do you think we can say someone is autistic at first sight? If no, clap your hands. Okay, don't kill me. Okay, what I'm about to tell you will go against what 90% of you is thinking because of this study. Neurotypical peers are less willing to interact with those with autism based on thin-sliced judgment. What says this study? It says, I'm going to the conclusion and I'm going to show you the figures. It says that if you see someone like this and the person do not talk or at all, there is a chance that unconsciously you might think, something's hard with this person, without this person opening the mouth. Even worse, if the person opens the mouth, So that's what this study shows. Okay, on this one, they decided to put different modality to people on the spectrum or not, seeing two individuals dressed the same, look the same. No, they did everything to almost have twins, And they presented speech content, audio and visual, audio only, silent video, and static frame. So what does it mean? It means that when the person has only the voice, the chances are higher that we see that something is hard. So I shouldn't get a call. And when you have audio and visual, it's a little less, but you see that overall, compared to a neurotypical person, the person under the spectrum is seen less nice, and less appealing, if I can say. Same for audio only, same for silent video, same for static frame, meaning that with a picture, people is even if they dress the same, this one is not nice, Furthermore, with this one, they just said to the people, okay, if you see these two people, what are the chances for you, to seem awkward? What are the chances that you will be willing to live near these people? What are the chances that you will find it likable or smart, and all this or even attractive? And as you can say, when it comes to trustworthiness, it's all equals, almost the same. When it comes to attractiveness, it's no, it doesn't work. And awkwardness, sky is the limit at that point. Meaning that automatically they will see that these people is awkward. Even if it's like, on this one, they just show pictures. So even if just with a frame, people think, okay, this person is awkward. Same for the probability to find it likable. They think like the person under the spectrum is not likable, is less likable than the other. And for this one, they measure how awkward, how approachable, and the likelihood of friendship. You can say that people under the spectrum are seen awkward, and that's it. There is no likelihood that they will find, like, from a neurotypical point of view, they will find that this person is appealing or approachable or could make a good friend. So, compared to the question I asked you earlier, is there any way you can spot a person on the spectrum at first sight? Yes, unfortunately. The only thing missing about this study, and if you had the chance to read it, really read it because it's really interesting. It's 80 pages of pure joy. I would say that. No, maybe not. The thing is that for people under the spectrum, it's harder because we're judged in, as the study said, in slice thin judgment. And the study also explains that we should go further, and they are trying to go further to find the reason behind this, because obviously there is something in the brain chemistry that makes you have this thin slice of judgment. That things that say that you see this person, even if she is like or is like everybody or dressed like everybody, you see this person, you think, oh, awkward, you know. So there is also this, the ratings for like likelihood to start a conversation, likelihood to have a lot of friends, get along well with others, spends times alone or awkward. You see that there is one word you will hear a lot this afternoon, awkward. It's like, they're awkward, that's it. And the likelihood to start a conversation or to make friends with them is like really short. And the likelihood for the people on the spectrum to be alone and for kind of forever alone is higher, based on a thin slice of judgment, without even opening your mouth. It's worth if you talk. I'm kidding. And how does it feel? Okay, it's time for a story time for you. Autism is like called the wrong planet syndrome. Why that? Because myself, I'm autistic. I think you might have guessed it. And for me, I had this prayer when I was a child. Like, I was really identifying myself with Superman, you know? And I was praying for my real parents from my real planet to come get me and get me out of here. I was like believing hard that I wasn't from here. I didn't know what was autism, and I didn't know I was autistic for 27 years. Because obviously there is a difference between women under the spectrum and men under the spectrum. Because a boy who loves trains and talk about trains or dinosaurs every time, it's cute, you know? A girl who loves, I had the things with plants, you know, like, you know, so plants, rocks. I loved rocks. And I had a passion, like really hard passion on dictionaries. Yeah, you couldn't have guessed. Yeah. So I was like every night reading like whole pages because I loved it. I was like, come on, there's a book with all the worlds in the world, and what? What? Oh, amazing. I need to know everything about this book. So I had this strong passion for that. And sometimes when I was talking to my peers about my passion for dictionaries, I was like the awkward one, you know? And I think now I'm 32, like for 32 years, I'm the awkward one, but it's okay. And that's why it's called the wrong planet syndrome, because we tend, due to monotropism, we tend to be at the same time introspective but passionate. We tend to be isolated but eccentric. And depending on the person we meet, we can be like the coolest person on the earth, but also the weirdest person on the earth, you know? We tend to be empathic, but also unpredictable, but also sincere. And there are so many things, so differences that are going together that people tend to like go straight forwards because we naturally have this tendency of putting labels on everybody. So we find like the, the, the easiest label to put. So for some people it's awkward because you don't respect the rules or the things that were established. And this is also due to hypersensitivity issues, because for myself, for example, whenever I get, as a woman, I knew earlier that I had to fit in. So what I did to fit in is to mimic the other women, the other girls, you know. So it's not a good idea. But it helped me go under the radar and like have a normal life, and also suppress all the stimuli or all the things that would hurt me, you know, and finding like ways. For example, I was used to stimming. So I went from stimming like I was like flapping like this when I was young. And then one day someone said to me, someone from my family said, girls don't do that. So now I'm like twisting my hair, you know? But for people, it's like a sign of flirtation. So it's like confusing. So if you see me twitching my, I'm not flirting. I'm just stressed out, okay? So also I have like this yoga thing with fingers, because it's like, it's not, how can I say that? It's not over showing. It's discreet. Or maybe I will like tap my thighs or do something, but something really discreet. Now, like people like clapping hands, so I'm back in clapping hands. When I'm happy, I'm like, ah, you know. So I know that nowadays it's cute. When I was younger, it was deemed awkward. So we had to adapt. And why does it matter? Why do I even do this talk? Because I came across all these things on Twitter, and even more, things that are really hurtful to read as a woman or as someone on the spectrum. He said, also, I will read that to you. If you are pretty, you can't be autistic. So yeah, it's normal. If you're ugly, it's normal that you're autistic. So I was like, oh my god, how can someone be like, okay, I'm gonna put this on X, and oh my god. When women refer to themselves as autistic, what they really mean is pathological narcissists with zero maternal instinct, but need to devise a way to continue receiving preferential treatment. Do I look like someone who is willing to have a preferential treatment? No. My whole life, the only thing I wanted is to live the life without like having to be worried about the way people perceive me, without having to worry about if I will have a job one day. Because in case you don't know, 16% of people under the spectrum have a full-time job. 16%. 16%. Okay, another thing. I figured out that gluten caused my son steaming and walking on his toes. Once I removed gluten from his diet, he stopped. She's lying, because I think he switched it up, but she didn't notice, because he realized that steaming that way, and I was conscious about that when I was younger. I realized that doing things like this or like this was perceived from adults as bad. So I switched it up. I changed. Instead of liking rocks and dictionaries, I liked music, dance, things that were acceptable, you know. Instead of, as I started flipping and doing rounds in circles because I was feeling overstimulated, I started like playing with my hair, playing with my fingers, you know. Also, women are sociopathic, oh, this one, sociopathically, can someone say that? Sociopathically, thank you. Oh, thank you. Appropriating autism in the same way that they appropriated nerd culture in the 2010s. Everything has been hollowed out of its meaning and worn as a skin by women in a year of actually developing interest or personalities, which is a struggle for them. So this one is the winner. So not only for him, women on the other spectrum have no personalities, but they're lying, you know. As I told you earlier, I didn't come from my brain when I said women can't be autistic, because a lot of people think that. And why they think that? Because there is a difference, as I told you, of diagnosis. Why? Because another number that is really interesting is that the average age of diagnosis for women under the spectrum is 27 years old. I was actually 27 years old when I was diagnosed. Because we know that society doesn't accept some things, so we do everything to pass and to not move waves, you know, because we have to keep it cute and simple. So, and it hurt a lot. I was like, okay. Also, that you don't relate with the character doesn't mean that other autistic people couldn't. You're not the autistic community yourself. Yeah, you're part of it, but your single opinion doesn't mean that the entire community thinks alike. Agree and disagree on that, because there are a lot of things that we have as a common experience, men and women, and we just want, as I told you, to live this life on this earth, that we think that we're not in the right planet. So trying to make our way and to just have the day-to-day life of everybody. For example, I'm involved with Autistics group in France, and usually I spend my Saturday, today, sorry guys, today I didn't, but usually the Saturday I have conversations with men, because they are more struggling with social things like a dating scene, for example. So that's what I do is that I give them my number, we call, and I explain to them, okay, you have a date, so let's get ready. So I'm gonna teach you, okay. So you have to make her think she's special. And he's like, how do I do that? But she's special, we have a date. But she doesn't know that, okay? So you have to ask her questions, even if you think it's silly, but ask questions, because it's the way you will show her that you're interesting. And doing that, it really opened my eyes and my mind to realize that we do have feelings. Yes. We do want love. Yes. Yes, so badly, yes. And we want the same experience as everybody. I want a husband as everybody. I want children as everybody. You know, it's not because I'm autistic that I'm like close to all the part of living the human experience. We want all of that, but we don't have the cues or the keys to this castle. So it's make it harder, and it's also isolate us, because as we try and try and try to get along and to get into the world, and we get punched in the face constantly, it can like, there is a point where you're like, you know, I talked with this young man, he was like feeling really depressed just because he couldn't land one date. It was like, okay, I'm 25. I've never had a girlfriend. I've never had a date. I tried, but it's impossible. I couldn't. I can't tell you the joy I felt for him when he said, I went on my first date and it went well and she likes me. And I was like, oh my God, he did. And we were like on the group, we were like all celebrating him because he did it, you know? And for neurotypical, even if I don't like this word also, for neurotypical people, it's normal. It's like, what's the matter? What's the deal? But when you never get this chance, and when it's struggling for you to get there, and once you get there, really it changes everything because you feel human, simply. And also that, oh, the autism epidemic is a tsunami in the middle of the night. Come on. Oh, the autism epidemic is saddening. It has destroyed our generation and our precious babies. We need this doctor back doing a great work to help our children. It's not an epidemic. It's just that we didn't have the right tool to diagnose it. So that's why we have now more and more people having the diagnosis, because we have more knowledge. So we're more able to spot on these people. And same for women. We have more and more knowledges. And the more we will get on that train, the more we will have people under the spectrum. It is normal. It's like mathematical, okay? It's like, okay. So here I'm done with the part that pisses me off. Now it's the part I like. It's these people. These people, like, I hope one day if you see that, guys, come have a chat. And, you know, for example, this one was so on point from the Dr. B. To everyone who ever said I didn't look autistic, know that I'm constantly running act like people expect .x in my brain. I'm not always aware I'm doing it, and it's eating up at least 50% of my RAM. It's also the reason for a lot of CPU overrating. And that was so on point. I laughed and cried at the same time. I was like, he got it, he got it. He said what I wanted to say. Also, this other one from Callum. Many autistic people go about life with a high base level of stress. We're often teetering close to the edge because of ongoing and unavoidable stress created by being misunderstood, being blamed for mutual communication challenges, sensory overload, overstimulation, and more. For me, I have issues with space, like spatial, you know, like when we play with my significant other on video games, yeah, it's like, go on the right. I'm like, what's right? You're right on my, but we're side to side. And come on, do an effort. I'm like, but I'm trying. What's right? Which one? Okay, that one. Okay, I get it. And also from Emily, autism is a spectrum. This does not mean that everyone is a bit autistic. It means that every autistic person experiences different combination of autistic traits, and each to different intensities. It is linear. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I should have come to you before. And our ability to cope with different things varies day to day, depending on our RAM, you know? So, now what? I talked to you about what is autism. I complained, I was pissed, I was happy, I almost cried, I got emotional. So what can you get from this talk? First, okay, before that, I need you another. When you see the letter, before starting to say something, just shout the letter. For example, after that there is the J, you shout, J, okay? I think it will sound nice and on the video. Yeah, I'm sure. So let's go. J. Yeah, thank you, great. Judgment-free. Why judgment-free? Because as autistic people, we tend to not judge people. So we expect you to not judge us at all, because we don't judge you. So yeah, it's obvious, I know, but for some people it's not, you know. So that's why we would like a life judgment-free and just be able to share our experience without being deemed as complaining or having issues or being problematic or something like that. Hey, no, again. It's the end. So now it's time to show me like you got it. Again. Hey, thank you. Aspiration, because we aspire to live the human experience as everybody. We aspire to have like the same life as everybody. It doesn't seem like this when you see Sheldon, but Sheldon is just a caricature, okay? It's not everybody. It's not everybody under the spectrum, even if some people say he's not, but I doubt it. Because we want you to see the value in us as we see the value of you, of living this life, of just being able to just say, okay, I'm like everybody. I'm different, okay, but it's in my brain. It doesn't mean that I can't be like anyone else. Hey, because we are all alike, so we should like be able to just, with all of that, to just go Java, okay? Yeah, I like playing with words. So, thank you so much. I'm Helvira Goma. Thank you for your attention. I think we have a few minutes. I try to like to race. We have 7 minutes. If you have any questions? Yeah, I'm a bot mother because I've created a women community in France to empower women as a software engineer. And for that, I had to create a bot because I was like, why not having a bot? So I'm a bot mother. Her name is Hada, and she helps out a lot every day. I love her. So, yes.
Is there anything that you wish your parents would have done, or teachers, or anything that people could have done when you were growing up? I mean, obviously the things you just listed, the Java, but specific things?
Okay, the question that, is there anything adults around me could have done to, I don't know, you know, it took me 2 years to accept my diagnosis because I was pissed. I was like, it's like grieving, you know. I was like pissed, sad, and pissed and sad. And I don't know what they could have done, but maybe they could have gone further than just, oh, she's eccentric. Oh, she doesn't, she's not like the other girls. I don't like it. They could have just gone a little bit further because they went to the IQ things. So I got diagnosed for that, but they didn't go further again because it was just the tree hiding the whole forest. like a huge forest. So I think maybe they could have gone far, because for me, I didn't have the knowledge. So I couldn't like stand for myself and say, okay, guys, stop playing. There is a reason why I don't have friends now, or I am struggling keeping them. There is a reason why I don't like playing regular games as any child. There is a reason. So maybe go find the reason. Go get to know me simply, because when you spend like 2 decades knowing that something's off, but you don't know what, and now all of a sudden they said autistic, and you're like, yeah, it's crushed me down. I was like, no way. For me, it was impossible. When she said, yeah, you're autistic, I was like, are you sure? Yes. Are you sure? I asked 10 times, really. And at the 10th, she was like, don't you see that? I was like, yeah, I get it now. yeah, okay. So yeah, maybe just that, and without any judgment, because I think I was born in the 90s, so at that time also there was still a lot of stigma around attached to autism. So I think that's why they didn't go that way, because for them I was having great grades. I was like, no more, if I can say. I don't like this word, but I was behaving like everybody, having great notes, great grades. So for them, there were no points of finding what's not wrong, but what's missing, But for me, I think it would have helped me a lot if I would have get this knowledge of myself, because it would have avoided me to go into a lot of bad situations because I was trying to get along. So I maybe like went to situations that were dangerous for me without knowing it, because I was a people pleaser, because I thought that it was the only way for me to be with others, So that's also the trap. Any other question? Yes.
So you mentioned you're a people pleaser. Did that kind of outweigh some of the autistic traits sometimes? So you're stuck in a zone and you're like really focused on something, but then your people pleaser comes out, and so you're like, oh, I need to like maintain the people pleasing.
Yes, that's, yeah. She asked if the fact that I'm a people pleaser also like helped me with some of the autistic traits, because if I'm on inertia mode, I will like be like, oh, remember, you're people pleaser, so help. But yes, definitely. But now I'm trying like to be no. It's hard. When your whole life you always said yes, so now I'm like no. And when my significant other comes and I'm coding, I'm like, what? I'm in the middle of something. It's not the time. So we even have a code, like, for example, if I put like something specific on my desk, it knows that it's not the time to talk to me at all. Like, leave me alone. And it knows also that, for example, when I'm off work, I need like to enter the gray zone. I call it the gray zone. It's like this area where I can just like let go of the past task and think about going slowly into the new one. So I'm like gray in French, gray. That means leave me alone, leave me with my headphones, and go with your life. I will come to you later. Maybe we have one more questions? Yeah. I love your mustache, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Let's see here. God, sorry, you made me lost my train of thought.
Oh, sorry.
The idea is that lots of behaviors that you pick up having autism are generally trying to be proactive to the social community around you. You're trying to adapt to them, trying to make them feel comfortable, trying to, as you said, the people pleasing is something that comes on quite quickly. Is any of that considered to be beneficial, or should it be torn down in the long term? I'm finding that I've kept working on that process and continue to adapt to people, continue to pick up more traits. It's like, well, what do you know? It prepared me for professional life, because that's what you're going to be doing in office politics and actual politics and whatever else. It's lots of stuff that involves manipulating the emotional states of humans around you, and guess what you've been wanting to do your entire life?
Yes, yes. I think it's a double-edged sword again. I think for me, I see that like this. Everybody got a book with all the pages written. I didn't get it. So I have to like write down myself all the pages. So it takes time, but it is important. Why? Because you need to understand also the others for you to be able to explain yourself and to make them also come to your world. Unfortunately, that's the way it works, you know. If you like stay in the state of, okay, people, I'm autistic, I don't give a. So no, I think it's not really the way of going with that. You don't have to got it all, you know, to be like social. For me, it's too late because it's been 20 years of training, so it's too late, obviously. But I think you need to get some skills because for you to be a better advocate and to make things move forward for people under the spectrum and get to have politics to help people under the spectrum, you need also to understand the world that is around you. For that, there is a really good book that called, oh, I forgot. Oh my bad. Oh my God. Oh, it's like, I forgot. But if you type this, it's a software engineer that is under the spectrum that wrote a book about learning the neurotypical world. And I read it and quickly. Sorry. No, not there. Yeah, there. And it really, life, it's called life spectrum. Understand. I don't know if I will. No. Oh, shit. Shush. Sorry. I can't find it, but I think if you come, like in 5 minutes, I will get the name of it. I got it on my research on GitHub, but this guy wrote the book, and it really helped me out to understand, for example, why people value small talk. Because for me, it was like, there's no point, you know? And you're the best. It's called A Field Guide to Earthlings by, what's the name?
Ford, I think.
Where is the name? Jan Ford, thank you. Like, it's like my Bible. Every time I need to understand something, I go to this book and I just read, and it lets me also understand that there are some neurotypical behaviors that make sense, even if it doesn't for me. And I think it's one step to be able to make people understand you. You have also to understand them, so, and the way they think. For me, it's like it makes sense. It's an exchange. And if you are waiting for them to understand you without understand them, good luck with that. Really, good luck with that. So I think you need some of the social skills, at least.
I think I'm saying the inverse of what you think I said.
Oh, okay.
Why don't I go so full bore into social skills that I effectively try and bulldoze over my personality?
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm French. I don't understand anything. No, yeah, I get it. I get what you mean. Yeah, I agree with you. You have to do that, and I'm sorry. I'm like I'm losing it all. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you. I think you need like to find the right balance. For me, it's like it's different because I have to detrain the things I've learned to do like systematically to understand myself and to separate what is my personality and what is like part of the social training. I know it can be confusing and it can be either you can lose yourself. But for me, I felt like this. I felt like I lost myself trying to fit in. And now I'm trying to refine myself. So yeah, I agree with you, but at the end of the day, you need at least you need a better understanding of yourself and know what's your limit and your boundaries, and when you're overpassing this and it becomes like just being people pleaser. I'm late. Okay. Is it okay for you? Is it okay for you, the answer? What did you say?
The explanation?
Yeah, the attempt of explanation.
I often think that you said a book with no words. I think of it as a computer with no GPU. By itself, you built your own GPU.
Yes.
You built your own. Who says you can't make it better than everyone else's? If you've got the documentation to work on it, that's practically what being a developer is. Except for you're developing human brain material. You're not developing
Yes. It's also one thing that is difficult because you have to be sure to not lose who you are, trying to fit in. I made you think?
I'm just debating that. Maybe I could become a more efficient human than there ever was if I ditch the brakes.
I'm all about that, trying to find the best way to live this human experience without losing myself, but without also losing a lot of energy on the way. We can talk about that after, if you want. Last question, maybe we're done? Okay, last question, oh, thank you. Last question, maybe, do you have any things to say? Okay.
Do you think work from home environments are more accommodating to people with autism?
He said, do you think that working remotely is better for people under the spectrum? Yes. It absolutely changed my life when I became a software engineer, because before that I was an office manager, and before that I was in microbiology, and I was working in open spaces, and it killed me. Now I'm I'm better at home. I can have my office, and it's not a flying office. And I can have my regular environment every day. I know for me it's not stressing out, and I'm feeling safe and comfortable, because fun fact, I almost get murdered at my first job as a software developer. Yeah, it's a story for another time, Mr. Mustache. So yeah, that's why for me going to the office is painful, really. And another thing, autistic people are really, really resilient. I can tell you. Last question, maybe we're done? We're done. Yeah, we're done. Sorry. Thank you so much again. Thank you. Thank you for having me.